Welcome to Mystara for a surprise video, as I have been working diligently on the Dungeon Master's Guide, which is a follow-up, obviously, to the Mystara Player's Guide. I suffered a setback when the file was somehow corrupted, and when I was able to get the file back up, I had lost about 40 pages. But when I was recouping my notes to start rewriting all of those pages, I discovered that the faction section was below what I would normally consider good for me. And when it comes to putting out quality, you know me, you've seen my videos, you know I do not like putting out subpar stuff. I had numerous factions planned for the Dungeon Master's Guide, but then when I started looking over every one of them, I realized I had a lot of redundancy, and that was not going to work, because nobody wants to read about 6 different spy agencies, not when there is a plethora of options available in the setting. Started going through each book, line by line, looking for some obscure faction that I could expand on, because I want to increase the background and the lore of the setting, obviously. In Yalarum, you have the Council of the Desert Rose, which has maybe 3 paragraphs of explanation, and past that, nothing. A single line of text in the Irendi book mentions a gnomish engineering syndicate that's never expanded upon or talked about ever again. And that's what I'm looking for. That's what's going to be in the Dungeon Master's Guide, at least for the factions. I don't want to just rehash old stuff. I want to expand on new things and expand the setting, but in a way that appeases both older players and new players coming into it. Because for the older players, they're holding on to nostalgia. For new players, this is brand new. They've never read anything like this before. They throw out a few snippets in 5th edition here and there, but it's more like just a bone being thrown to us old dogs. So this video is a sneak peek into things that are going to be in the Dungeon Master's Guide. Specifically, this is covering House Ithel, the fallen merchant house of Darokin, which, through its own greed and hubris, managed to destroy itself in a single night of demonic summoning. Yet, there are rumors that they aren't quite dead yet. So warning, here be spoilers. I am reading from the book verbatim, so there will be some adventure hooks at the end. First off, House Ithel's purpose is the restoration of their power. Their organizational type is they are demon-worshipping nobility. Their estimated membership is about 400, with thousands of servants. Their functional range is Darokin and a few surrounding nations, and their current status is secret and illegal. On second thought, let's change that from worshipping to summoning nobility, because that would be a continuity error, and I hate those. The editing process at work! Yay! On a dark, moonless night in 773 AC, the Ithel family, as far as the world knew, was completely exterminated. The ancient family was well established in the history of Darokin. Their ancestors advised the king of old. More than one Ithel was considered as a contender to the throne in centuries past. Their wealth was vast. Their merchants were spread across markets from Glantry to Thyatis. The destruction of the family left a power vacuum in Darokin that the country did not recover from in nearly a century. If the good people of Darokin knew the truth behind the fall of Henry Ithel and his kin, the family's legacy would be stricken from the history books. Henry Ithel was bitter over the fate of his family. The line of Darokin kings ended in 723 AC with the death of Santhrall II, and the Ithel family felt the throne was theirs for the taking. The noble's claims were largely contested or ignored. His family was powerful, but not powerful enough to exert their demands on the throne. Ithel became obsessed with power. The House of Ithel, always known for their magical prowess, began looking for ways to force their leadership on Darokin through arcane means. To accomplish this, Henry ordered his family to return to their ancestral home in Ithildown Island, where they could consolidate their power and stand united. There he revealed his plan to ally with abyssal powers to gain the strength needed to seize the throne of Darokin. Not a single member of the Ithel family survived the summoning. Castle Ithel was twisted and warped, its stone towers curved downwards like they were made of wax. Sailors on Lake Amsarak heard the screams of the dying for miles, and when day broke, there was no life on the island. The castle has been considered cursed for centuries now. But not all members of the House of Ithel were at the island when their summoning went wrong. Fearful of their family's secrets being revealed, they took what wealth they could manage, destroyed all traces of their past lives, and adopted new identities. Their family was officially dead, but not their motivations. Now they gained their powers masquerading as others. From the shadows, the descendants of House Ithel plan their return to power, practice their forbidden magics, and consult with creatures not of this world. Members of House Ithel have not used their family name in public since that night centuries ago. They are hidden in plain sight, members of all the major guilds, minor lords and ladies of isolated manor houses. In Darokin, coin is king, and House Ithel, though reduced in wealth, still has plenty of it. The family is tightly knit, for in House Ithel nothing is thicker than blood. No matter which one regains the throne, the entire family will prosper. There are no known genealogy charts for House Ithel and Darokin records. However, every member of the family keeps an updated family chart in their possession. As soon as a family member is old enough to understand their family history and the destiny they were denied, the family crest is magically branded onto their body. Family members can see this brand with a cantrip taught only to them. House Ithel's enemies are quite varied because they have assumed so many positions of power across Darokin. Many of the guilds have stood in the way of the family's machinations without even knowing their existence. The Wizards of Glantry have competed with them to obtain powerful magic items, again ignorant of their actual rival. The family does try to infiltrate numerous guilds and groups, so that no matter which side of a contest prevails, the family gains in power. The true enemies of House Ithel target them through their use of dark magics more than their conspiracies and plots. They are the largest group of demonologists in Mystara, a school of magic abhorred even by the pragmatic Wizards of Glantry. Every group that actively hunts for demons in or around Darokin has come into conflict with House Ithel. The Knights of Ebony and the Servants of the Eternal Truth, in particular, have locked horns with the family numerous times. The biggest threat to House Ithel is the rare family member that rejects the family's evil ways. A turncoat can damage their plans in an evening that an entire army couldn't do in a whole year. These rogue relatives are hunted down without mercy. House Ithel is tightly organized along family lines. The opinions of the direct descendants of Henry Ithel carry the most weight in the family. The further a member of the family is from the main line, the less relevant they are. A minor family can be elevated in status by furthering the goals of House Ithel. However, all are expected to obey the dictates of the head of the family, currently Dame Margaret Monteith, 5 generations removed from her ancestor Henry Ithel. Affiliation in House Ithel is a very complicated affair. New births are a significant event, but the children are raised with great care to ensure they possess the same drive for power as their parents. A senior member of the family arranges all marriages. If a spouse proves to be a threat to House Ithel, an accident is arranged. Even if a spouse is considered acceptable, they will never share the same status as the family member. Only those of pure Ithel blood are viewed as worthy of power. The rise in status of a family member is a carefully cultivated ascension. The family makes sure that the relative attends the right school, joins the right company, and marries the right person. Rivals to their plan are disgraced or are eliminated outright. This is all done clandestinely or through proxies. A common tactic is to deal with the relative's guild or adoptive family to put them in a position of power, but make the appointment seem like a concession in an unrelated deal. The ultimate goal of House Ithel is to destabilize Darokin to the point that the guild system collapses and the populace demands a strong ruler to right the country. Then House Ithel's master plan comes to fruition. The various family members that have been carefully inserted into the guilds, cartels, and nobility propose an agreed-upon family member to assume the throne. Once House Ithel has succeeded in that, they immediately cease the activities they started to destabilize the nation, making it appear that the new king was successful in bringing peace to Darokin. There is little the family will not do in furthering their goals. They have made pacts with numerous demons in the past to acquire power or to eliminate a rival. Their attempt to summon the Balor Razrog was what brought down their family initially. The list of powerful demons the family has curried favor with is a long one. They avoid dealing directly with demon lords, as the Council of Intrusion spares no effort exterminating those that deal with the Tanari. The family knows that the one source of power that could further their goals beyond their wildest dreams lies in the twisted ruins of Ithildown Castle. Their family kept much of their wealth in the coffers of their ancestral home. All of the powerful artifacts and magic items they possessed were contained within. The problem is the demon Razrog, a Balor of considerable power, is still trapped within the castle walls. The family employs retainers of dubious morals. House Ithel only requires 2 things: competence and loyalty. Minions that succeed in their task are showered with gold and treasures. Those that fail are never heard from again. The trait all retainers share is the fact they're all expendable. And for your Dungeon Masters, here are some adventure hooks you can use with House Ithel. The name is Ithel, James Ithel. A member of House Ithel has gone rogue and taken up an oath and joined the ranks of an order of paladins. The family is sparing no expense to see him dead, and at the same time covering up their tracks. The party is either hired to kill the black sheep of the family, or has to protect him long enough to track down as many members of his family before the trail goes cold. Burn the books, then the people. House Ithel has found information still exists on its history, and more dangerously, its genealogy in a library in Corringlain. Their minions are sent to recover the information, and failing that, to destroy it. The party arrives just in time to stop the theft, but if it looks like the House Ithel agents are going to lose, they set fire to the building. Now the party has to decide whether to stop the agents or the rapidly spreading flames. A candle at both ends. The family needs supplies from one of the guilds for their schemes. To facilitate this, they arrange for the goods to be transported to one of their agents, and bandits to steal the items in transit. The party works as caravan guards, or are hired to take the items, and if discovered, they succeed they have become disposable as the family ties up loose ends. Silent partner. The party has an expedition funded by a member of House Ithel to search for relics from the lost nation of Timora. The party doesn't know that the Ithel family controlled the area long ago and is looking to recover some lost artifacts. Once the party clears out the monsters in the ruins, their benefactor arrives and demands the artifacts as their return on investment. Price of power. A demon summoning ritual in a small Darokin city succeeds too well, and numerous minor demons are unleashed on the unsuspecting town. The party has to put down the demons that have been unleashed and track the fiends back to their source before they overrun the city. Till death do us part. A relative's spouse decides they have had enough of their partner's unusual behavior and files for divorce. Of course, the family has none of it and has arranged for numerous accidents to eliminate the would-be former spouse. In return, the spouse hires the party to help overcome the sudden bout of bad luck, plaguing them for an entire week until the divorce can be finalized. Loose ends. A member of the family is killed when one of their plans falls apart. Now, the people responsible for thwarting the family's plans are dying one by one. The party has to find and kill the deceased imp's familiar that is seeking vengeance. Castle of Wax. The family has decided to recover their lost history one more time, with one of their number hiring the party to find the source of evil in Castle Ithel down and kill it. The party will have to face numerous demons, including Razrog, as well as powerful undead and, worse, minions from the Dimension of Nightmares. Even if the party succeeds in all of that, House Ithel arrives to eliminate the party and take back their property. So that's House Ithel. They're not nice people. I didn't want to make them into a generic doomsday cult that plagued the realms, so they have more earthly needs. And this is just one of the 20 factions that will be in the Dungeon Master's Guide, if and when I can get it finished. The book's going to be about 320 pages, and I am telling you now that the art is going to be expensive. So I might have to sell a kidney or 3. I gotta see how many I have left in the fridge. But back to writing the book. This is Mr. Welch signing off.